form structure of glass, how to create a simple form containing different. Okay, and this is very important. So normally they will ask the question on this, how form interact with the server. Okay, so you need to explain all the 5 steps. Okay, diagram is important, but just whatever the data entered by the user, so how exactly it is going to carry the data. Okay, so that is represented in the form of query string, where name, value, place are specified. So if it is having more than one name, value, place, each it is separated by ampersand. So we have discussed all these things, and this is a representation of the query string. You can just observe. So this is the name of the label. Then this is the value entered in the text box. And so you have another input, country. So the name given for this text, okay, text box, whatever it is given, so that will be specified here. So whatever it is specified in the red color, that is the name of the element. Okay, so that is normally will specify within the code. So whatever the answer or the value it is entered, that is sent. Okay, so this is how the query string looks like. So we have discussed more about the query string, and also we just started with form method. Okay, action, what are the attributes of the form element. So we have discussed already these things, form element, especially the attributes. One is action method. So action method indicates, so what is the server side resources it should get execute based on this particular either click on button or whatever the operation it is specified in the form. Okay, so the corresponding server side code should get executed. So that is specified in the action attribute. So action, and so you can just see above here I have specified. So this is the form element. So this is the form element. You can just observe. It is having 2 attributes. It's having 2 attributes. One is method and another one is action. So here action indicates, so attribute specifies the URL of the server side resource that will process the form data. Okay, whatever the data you entered, it has to process that data. So that particular file name you need to specify in the action. So what are the file names normally? It will be in the form of ASP, AS.ASPX. Okay, indicates ASP.NET. The code is written in ASP. Okay, or if it is the file name is .JSP, indicates it is a Java server page. That means the code is written using JSP. Then similarly, if it is .php, indicates you have written the code in PHP programming. So like that, the file name followed by the corresponding extension should be specified. Okay, so that particular program, it is going to process the form data. So that is action. So next method. So the attribute specifies how query string data will be transmitted from browser to the server. Okay, how it is going to carry the data. Okay, whatever the data you are going to enter and you are going to fill in the form. Okay, so how it is going to carry the data or transmit it to the server. So there are 2 methods. Using these 2 methods, it is going to transfer the data to the server, from browser to the server. So how exactly these 2 methods are different? Okay, we'll just go in detail about get method and post method. What are advantages when we have to use get method and also post method? Does somebody ensure my screen is visible? Okay, so we'll just go in detail about the get and post method. So what is this get method? How the data is carried using get method? So the get method, whenever in the form for the method attribute, if you specify it as a get, the browser locates the data in the URL of the request. So whatever the data you entered from that particular form, so that all data either username, password, everything, okay, it will be carried through the URL. So in case of, that means when you click on submit, okay, whatever the data you entered here, so that complete data is carried through the URL. Okay, and also that data can be seen. So even either it is a username, password, everything it is going to be visible. I will show you one example for that. So in case of post, the form data located in the HTTP header after the HTTP variables. So in this, whenever if you specify form method, so this attribute as post, so the details whatever you entered, your username, password, can't be seen. So where the data is located, it is located in the HTTP header. So in that header part, the data is going to be carried. So after the HTTP variable, the data is going to be appended. So normally, how we are going to represent the form data? Okay, so which method we need to use? There are two methods, no? Form, one is get method and post method. So actually, which one we have to use? So the most of the time, we need to go for the form method to be specified is post, because there is a security using post. So whatever the data you entered in the form, okay, when you specify form method as post, it can't be seen. Okay, it cannot be seen when it is submitted or when it is sending to the server. So in case of get method, what happens? I already told the data can be visible in the URL. So get method is useful. Okay, so sometimes it is not a good practice to use get method when you are sending any the important or secured information, or if you confidential information if you want to submit. In such cases, we should not use the get method. Normally password. Okay, so whenever you are using such information, so it is not suggested to use get method. Okay, so then when exactly we have to use get method? There is no security using get method. So everybody can, when I use get method and send the data, if it is having a password, the password can be seen, it is visible in the URL. So anybody can see that what is the password I am sending. Okay, so for that reason, so the get method is not suggested to use. It can be used only so whenever you are testing or developing a system. Okay, so that is when the system is under developing. So when you are designing or when you are developing particular application, so you will be just testing that particular form or that particular application. During that time, you can just mention it as a get method. Okay, so other time when it is working with a real time, so we should not specify the get method. So that is just because of security. We will be using the get method, that is to examine the query string directly from in the browser address bar. Okay, so what is the information I am just sending? Okay, that can be easily observed in the browser address bar. So in that case, so it's easy to check, or it is easy to going to be testing can be done easily. Okay, so whatever the data I am sending, it is visible in the URL. Okay, so no need to check, go separately and check what is the detail I am setting. Okay, when you click on submit button, so the data will be visible in the URL itself. So you can, when you are developing application or testing, during that time get method is best. Okay, so in other cases you should not use the get method. So there is a security risk. Since get method uses URL to transmit the query string. Okay, so URL to transmit the query string. Form data will be saved when user bookmarks a page. Okay, and this is one more problem with the get method. When you specify get method, when the user bookmarks the page, that particular page, so all that data which may be addressable but generally potential security risk for shared use of computers. Okay, so normally what happens is the security problem arises when you are using a get method. Okay, so because when you go for bookmarks of that particular page, it is going to save that data, whatever the data that is there in the form, it will be saved. Okay, so that is going to be the security issue. So for that reason, we should not use. So either when you are sharing the password or any credential information, so we should not use it. Okay, so normally if it is password, so whenever if you are sharing or whenever if you are submitting the password, or if it is carrying the password information, so during that time it is compulsory go with the post method. So now when you are learning, no, so during this time you can just try creating the page web form using get and also post method. Okay, using get and post method, just you are going to learn. So during the time you just create one login page and specify get method. When you click on submit, observe the URL and you will be able to see the password, login name, everything. Okay, that is submitted through the URL. The query string is submitted or transmitted through the URL that can be seen. Okay, but when you are doing with respect to post, it is not possible. So that is embedded along with the HTTP header and it is sending the data. And you can just observe here, there is a small example. So this is syntax. So this is a syntax of these two attributes. So form, and here two attributes, one is method and another one attribute is action. So if I specify method is get and action is, this is one of the particular server resource program that is going to execute based on the data that is sent by the form. Okay, it is going to process the form data, server side program. So now when I specify like this, okay, consider here you can just say title and country. When you click on submit, okay, it is going to send the data like this. Okay, it is going to send the data like this in the URL. So you will be able to see all this information in the URL. Okay, so here anyhow there is no password, but still you can just observe the complete information can be viewed in the URL. So there is a security problem. If it is a password, if this is a password and if somebody is sitting along with you, so and when you are specified get method, okay, so they will come to know what is the password you have used. Okay, so that is a risky with respect to security. Similarly, in case if it is post method, you can just observe. Okay, so if the method specified is post, so whatever the data you are going to enter in the form, that is carried through the HTTP header. Okay, that cannot be seen by the user. You can just observe. So these are all the header information of the HTTP. Okay, you can just it is having the details, what method, so which is a server side program, the date, okay, and the website, user agent, then content length. So content length, so that is the length of this query string is called as content length. Okay, so here also you can just see from this question mark to here it is called content length. So there is a limitation with respect to content length. Okay, so if it is a very big form containing lots of fields, so in that case you just imagine what is the size of this query string. Okay, what is the size of this query string? So there is a limitation for the number of characters that should be present in the query string. Okay, so normally it is going to vary with respect to the browser. Okay, so if it is Internet Explorer, okay, there is a limitation. Normally other browsers there is no limitation, but with respect to Internet Explorer, it is having limitation with respect to query string size. So this size, can you see? So this size is going to vary or it increases as the number of fields in the form if it is increasing. Okay, it is for Internet Explorer, it is going to be 2048 characters, 2048 characters. Okay, that is the maximum size of the query string if it is a Internet Explorer. Similarly, Apache web server, the URL length, it can go to 4000 characters. So like that it is going to vary. Is it clear? So the difference between, still I am going to explain what are the advantage and disadvantage of each of these methods. So this is very, very important. When you are creating forms, try to, in the example I will show. Okay, so what happens if I use get method and post method? So here, what are the advantage of each get and post method? So the first one is with respect to the get method. Okay, so data can be clearly seen in the address bar. Okay, when you are specifying the attribute method get, Okay, so whatever the data entered by the user can be seen in the address bar or in the URL. Okay, data remains in the browser history and cache. Okay, whenever if you specify get, so it is whatever the data entered, it will be retained in the browser history and also the cache. So that is one more drawback of the get method. So data can be bookmarked. Okay, so normally we'll do the bookmarking of that particular page. So when you do the bookmarking, the content will be saved. Okay, whatever the data it is entered, it is going to be saved if it is a get method. And also there is one more limitation with respect to get method. It is limit the number of characters in the form. Okay, so characters in the form data entered. So that's what I was explaining here. So this is with respect to only get method. So if it is Internet Explorer, there is a limit. Okay, and this is for Apache web server. Okay, you should know what is URL and all. These are all the basic things. I'm not explaining all those things. Okay, uniform resource locator. So this is the address used for opening any of the web pages. So next, with respect to post method, what are the advantage and disadvantage? So data can contain binary data. Okay, so normally the data can be represented using binary in the post method. So data is hidden from the user. Okay, the data is not visible to the user. Okay, so because it is not added in the address bar or in the URL, so it is going to be in the HTTP header. So because of that, it is not possible to view by the other users when it is transmitting. Okay, and also another advantage is submitted data is not stored in the cache or history or bookmarks. Okay, so these are all the advantage and disadvantage of get method, and this is advantage and disadvantage of the post method. Okay, so this is just theoretical part. When you are using this method, you will come to know actually so how exactly these two methods works. Okay, any queries? Okay, when I start creating any of the web form, I will just use these two and we'll discuss how exactly it works. So next I'll continue with the form control elements. What are the form control elements we can use? Okay, so this HTML5, okay, supports a wide range of different input types. So those are all called form based HTML elements. So in that we'll just go with some of the form related HTML elements. Okay, so few form elements we'll discuss today. So you can just observe the first element here, it is given button. So define a clickable button. So normally normally I will take example of either login page or a registration form. Okay, so if it is login page, you will be having username and password, followed by you will be having two buttons, clickable buttons. If you click on that, okay, so whatever the data it is entered, it will be taken to the server. Okay, so there it is going to check is it the authorized user and the password is correct, everything. Accordingly, it will log into that particular user. It will open a session for the user once it is correct. So next one is data list. Okay, clickable buttons. I will just show you how we can create the clickable buttons. So then data list, an HTML5 element form define list to be used with other form elements. Okay, so you will be getting the list item. Okay, that can be used for the column elements. Then field set. Okay, whenever if you want to make a group of set of elements, HTML elements, one particular group. Okay, so you just start with this field set. Group the related elements in the form together. So maybe I can give you an example for that. You can just observe in this example. Can you see here? There is one box, gray color. There is one line box. Can you see outside? So that is formed using field set. Okay, I'm just grouping the elements using field set. How to use? So this is used after the form tag. You can just observe form tag followed by I'm using field set, and whatever the elements I'm going to group it now, okay, that should be there in opening and closing of form, I mean field set. Okay, so it is mainly for grouping the elements, that's all. You will get the box like this. Okay, so try to use these tags, you will come to know. Then form, define the form container. I already told in the last class, form tag is the container where it will be containing all other HTML elements. Then input, so we are going to discuss lot of options with respect to input type. So define input field. HTML defines over 20 different input types. Okay, so I will explain some of these different input types that is commonly used. Then label. Okay, so for whatever the elements you have created, you need to specify the label. Okay, you need to specify what each that field indicates. Okay, so label, name, password, like that you can specify the labels to each of the field. Okay, then legend. Okay, so what does this indicates? Legend, so defines the label for the field set group. Okay, it is going to assign a label. So I told in the previous slide, okay, you can see this box is formed using field set. So now you need to give what are these elements I'm grouping. If you want to give the name for that, okay, so you're going to use that legend option where you will be getting the name as details. Okay, like this. Okay, legend, and it is specifying the group field set group name is details. Can you see this? Just observe carefully. Okay, so this is a box, and for that you are giving the name. This is one group of elements where I'm giving the name details using legend option. Next. So next we have options. So that indicates option in a multi-item list. Okay, so we'll be discussing how to represent this option either using checkbox or select method. So we have different methods of specifying the options. So we'll discuss those option methods in detail. Okay, so define group of related options in multi-item list. This is just for grouping the items. Then select, so define multi-item list. So example, drop down list. Okay, normally you will be having a drop down list. Okay, so when you click on drop down list, you will be getting list of items can be selected. Okay, so that is using select element. Then text area. Okay, if you want a larger area to enter the information. Okay, so if it is just simple text box, there is a limitation on number of characters to be entered. If you want to enter the information in multiple rows, okay, like this, if you want to enter example description of some particular information, okay, so that can be done using this text area. Or if you want to give the address, okay, where it will be having more than one row, so in such cases you give the form element, specify the form element text area. Okay, it is similar to text box. Only thing is it can have multiple rows, multiple lines. Okay, so this is another set. So text input control with respect to the text information. Okay, so normally input type you need to specify. So create a single line text entry box. So input type is equal to text. So then you will be able to enter the text information in that particular box. Okay, for that you can give the name and also the value. So there are so many other attributes. So I'll be explaining that. Then text area you can specify. So create multiple text entry box. So how many number of rows you want, so that can be specified. And next one is password. Input type is equal to password. See, all these are all we are giving the input types, different input types. Okay, so here it is text name, text, here it is password. So if I, for password, if I use just a text box, what happens? The whatever the data or the password you are entering, it is visible. So if you want to hide that information, so you need to use the input type is password. So immediately, so the data entered, it will be in the form of asterisk symbol. Okay. Similarly, you can have search option. Create a single line text entry box suitable for searching string. Then for email, you can create the input type email. Then this is for telephone number. Okay, and this is for URL. Okay, some of these things we'll try to in brief some of the input types. You will be having checkbox. Then text area. Okay, I'll just try to explain these different types of input types. Two types of text box. One is text box normal and another one is text area. So how to start here? The syntax, the tag used is input type. Inputs, you have to give the space, attributes, example name. So name of the text. So I will just give it is first name. So we need these names when you are working with the server side script. Okay, and I have another value attribute, that is enter name. Okay, so what is this value it is going to perform is it is going to display this information in the text box by default. Okay, if you don't want, you can just keep this is empty, or you can just avoid this attribute. So next I can go with another attribute, size. Okay, what should be the maximum size of this text box? Okay, so like that, still we have so many other attributes. So let's go with these many attributes. Later we'll discuss the other attributes. Okay, so this is for text box. So when you do this, immediately we'll get a text box. So let me just execute, and I will modify there itself for other elements. This is a basic syntax. So only thing is this input type, it is going to vary with all other different options. Just opening new HTML file. Okay, in the body. So in the body you can just start with the form tag. So always the form tag comes under body of the page. So you need to start form. Okay, even you can use the labels also. So example, username, just put column, then input type. Okay, input space type. So here I'm going to specify it is text. What is the name I am going to give here? It is f name. It here, and we'll add the other attributes one by one. So save it. Okay, are you able to see? I have got the label, okay, and the corresponding text box, nothing else. So now you can just add more number of attributes to this. So this name, it is used when you are processing the data, okay, at the server side. In that program, you will be using this particular name to access this input type. So next I will add value. Okay, enter your name. Okay, just save it. Can you see? So you are getting whatever the value you are going to enter. so it will come in this text box. So if you don't want, just make it empty. Okay, don't give anything. Okay, so this is how the value works. So name is going to be used in the server side code, okay, to access or to process this input value. So next you can go with the size. Okay, it should accept 5 characters. Okay, can you see? It can accept only, you are limiting how many characters it should be. A, B, C, D, E. I am pressing F, it is not taking, because the length of the text box, it is maximum number of character entered, it is fixed to 5. If you want normally name, it will be more, you can just give to 20 characters. Okay, save it. So you can just observe, it is accepting more than 5. Okay, so that is how you need to specify the length. And also size. Okay, that is a text box size. Okay, it is not going to affect how many number of characters you are going to enter. Okay, so size means that is a text box size. So max length means number of character you can enter in the box. Are you clear? So size is going to be the size of the text box for the appearance. Okay, how much, what is the size of the text box you are going to represent in the form. Okay, normally we'll use these attributes for the input type text. So hope everybody understood for input type text. Okay, so let me add that legend part and also form field set. You can just keep adding all those things, whatever it is specified in the textbook. Field set. Okay, so what happens, you just check it. It should be after the form. It's just forming one group of elements, that's all. Close it, save it, and see here I don't have any border or anything telling about the group. Okay, so when I do this, can you see it forms one particular box type. So whatever the elements now I am going to specify within that field set, it will be added to within that particular box. Okay, now let me take the same thing. So here I am going to change this to password. Okay, so your input type should be specified is, let it be text, we'll see what happens. Okay, name you should give different, otherwise there will be ambiguity when you are accessing these values and when you are processing. Okay, give the different name. Okay, value, let it be everything remaining same. I will just run. Okay, so it is coming to the next. If you want to give to the next line, just use the break so that it will be take to the next line. So now you can see password, it is visible. So if you just specify it as a text, the whatever the data you are going to enter, it will be visible. So now if you don't want to make password visible, so you need to specify input type is password. Can you see? I'm just getting the circle, filled circle. Okay, so this is how, very simple thing is, you need to just practice it. The code simple way, however you want, you can just practice. Similarly, you can just work with the other one more term, that is legend. Okay, it should be closed there itself. Field set should be closed at the end before the form. Okay, so that now whatever the elements you are going to put, it will be in that group. Can you see? So this is how you are going to get the heading for this login. So you can reduce all the size of all this box and all. So you have to specify the extra attributes for that. So similarly, now you can just start working with the So every time you just try to use. So now username is added, password is added. Next we need buttons. Okay. So we need buttons. You can specify the input type is button. So the where you will be getting the clickable buttons. Okay. So similarly, I will just buttons. I will go. We have different types or variety of way we can represent the buttons. I'll just go with the buttons later. Let me go with the other form elements. So here I told no the radio or checkbox or text area. So next I will go with the radio button. Okay, so always try to give the labels followed by input. Select it. You will get the type. So in the type specify a radio. Okay. So radio. So this is for specifying the gender I have taken. If syntax is correct, immediately you will get that pop-up drop-down list where you can select the correct value. Okay, so for radio, you need to give the same name. I will tell you why we need to give the same name for both the radio buttons. So let it be other things. Just save it. Okay, so I'm getting radio buttons. Okay. So in case if you are giving, see I have given both the radio button means, so when you are going to use radio button, so either the gender of the person, either you need to select male or female, not both. Okay. So in this case, you need to give the name of these radio buttons should be same name. In case if you are giving different name, what happens? Check it. I have given here gender and gender 1. Save it and run. Okay, it is selecting both. Okay, so radio button, it is mainly used for choosing any one option, one selection. Okay, so if you are giving different name, both will be get selected. So whenever if the input is given, either it will be any one of these two values, either male or female. So in that case, the name of this radio button should be same. Then only you will be able to select any one of the radio button. Okay, now you can just check it. Okay, so this is all about the radio buttons. So next, similarly, you can just check with the checkbox. Will you try? You people try. Let me see. Checkbox text area. Okay, so you just try with checkbox text area. Still, whatever it is there in the slides, I will just cover that part. Okay, email, searching, you can just try by yourself, and tomorrow's class you just tell me you got the output or you faced any problem. Okay, so other things, I think we started with the input. So for this you just try with text area, and also password is done, search, email, okay, telephone, so URL, you just try with all these things. And sample code, it is available in the textbook. The textbook also I have shared. Okay, just